Hello, I'm Mrs. J, and welcome to my math class. We're going to continue a review for Math 1035, and we're going to work with exponents. Well, I put negative, but then I decided we're working with all the exponents. But when you do have the negative exponent, the negative moves it to the denominator. So if we had 2 to the negative 1, it would be 1/2. Or 2 to the negative 3 would be 1/2 cubed. And then 2 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So negative exponent moves it to the denominator. X to the 0, anything to the 0 power is 1. Got stuck on zeros. So anything to the 0 power is 1. If we have 5 to the 0 power, it's 1. X plus 8 to the 0 power, it's 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. When we look at fractional exponents, the denominator is a radical. So when there's a 2 in the denominator, it's a square root. When there's a cube in the denominator, it's a cube root. Notice that the 2 is on the numerator, and it stayed with the x. So this became cubed root of x squared. So a denominator of an exponent is a radical. That means if we had the 5th root of x to the 4th, that could be written as x to the 4/5. We have 8 to the 1/3. We could rewrite that as the cubed root of 8. And the cubed root means you need to multiply something by itself 3 times. 2 times 2 times 2. So this would be 2. Another way of doing it, if we left it like this, we know that 8 is 2 cubed to the 1/3. And an exponent to an exponent is multiplied. So if we multiply 3 times 1/3, we get 3/3, or 2. So that means when you have an exponent to an exponent, you multiply. But when you have variables multiplied together with the same base, you add their exponents. So since these are both x, we can add a plus b. So if we had x squared times x cubed, we'd have x to the 5th. So when you multiply, you add your exponents. When you divide, you subtract them. Top minus bottom. So if we had x squared over x to the 5th, that would be x squared minus 5, because top minus bottom, which is x to the negative 3. But when you finish a solution, you should never have a negative exponent. You should always reduce them. So that would be 1/x cubed. Okay, let's try a couple that are a little bit harder. So this would be exponent to an exponent. And because this is all multiplication or division in here, you can distribute it. So -3 times -2 is x to the 6 over, when there's no number, remember it's a 1. So this would be 1 times -2, or y to the -2. We need to make this positive. Just like when a negative's in the numerator, we move it down. If it's in the denominator, we move it up. So this answer would be x to the 6th y squared. So this we can multiply, and then this one needs to move up to get a positive exponent. This one we have 16 over 49 to the 1/2. Remember, 1/2 is the same as the square root. And then we know 16 is 4 times 4. So the square root of 16 is 4. And the square root of 49 is 7, because it's 7 times 7. Try one more. Now this one is a little trickier because looking at it as radicals, it's a little harder. This is a square root, but that one's a 7th root. So it is actually easier if you rewrite it, and I'm going to move it up here, but if you rewrite it as the fractional exponent. Because if we rewrite this, this is w to the 1/2 and w to the 1/7. Remember, when we multiply with the same base, we have to add those exponents. To add them, you need a common denominator, which in this case would be 14. So we have a 2. To get 14, we needed to multiply by 7 over 7. In this one, we have a 7, so we have to multiply by 2 over 2. Then we can add them. So we have 9/14. That's everything with exponents. And thank you for your time.